This video is a continuation of the video understanding how the Stay Out game works and will have relevant information about the maps, Abandoned Warehouse, Lesnaya Station, Liubech Outlands, Airport, Vesuvius and Prison. Leaving Tunguska, Caravan, New Land and Black Forest for a possible future video. I will also present some tips that have already been presented in previous videos, but now as a knowledge base, so you don't have to look for them in every Stay Out video on this channel. I will close the presentation of my knowledge base on the Tunguska map, because when you have access to this map and enough resources to keep yourself performing the tasks that the Tunguska factions give you, you will be ready to join one of the player clans that exist in the game, knowing that you will not be tied to favors and having experience to contribute with your mates. You see, you can try to join one of these clans even if you are a noob, but you will depend on the goodwill of the clan members, and you will always have a babysitter with you. Keep in mind that in this game you have the option of creating 3 characters per account, and this alone is a reason for the clans to be somewhat paranoid, and they will suspect you all the time, even if it is a veiled suspicion, that is, discreet, without being told to you. But why would they suspect a noob? Paranoia among experienced players. Some experienced players have more than one account and do not play only on the American server, just as Russian players also play on both the Russian and American servers. But the issue is that some players who are members of clans infiltrate other clans. Not all infiltrators pass on tactical information about a defense or attack plan, but most of the time they do. Some even change sides, depending on the modus operandi, of the clan they came from. I must now say that the infiltrator theory is more of a conspiracy theory and paranoia of some clans than an absolute truth. But it is still a paranoia that certainly lives among most clans. And since I got into the issue of paranoia of more experienced players, if you quickly acquire goods in this game, whether by buying them in the game store or by winning them from someone who is helping you, you run the risk of being seen with an alternative character of an experienced player who is deceiving other players. Believe me, this happens very often. Even if your character's name is similar to the name of another experienced player, you will be suspected of being that other player. Okie dokie, back to the script. Tutorial map. Here on the Abandoned Warehouse map, better known as the tutorial. This is where you will take your first steps following the Stalker Guide. Basically, you just have to read the instructional text and do what you are told. Personally, I thought the previous versions of the Abandoned Warehouse map were pretty weak and even unnecessary. However, after the game's latest update, I believe it is worth it for a beginner player to give this map a little attention, since the developers finally got it right, and now this map is much more introductory than before. Lesnaya Station map. You wake up in Dr. Felix's office. And here you will be introduced for the first time to your skill tree, also known as character development. Take note of the following information, as it is very useful. Always feed your running skills, because in this game you will be running all the time through the maps because of a task, an event or capture flag fight, if you are in a clan. Here is a skill tree for a level 34 character. You start by populating the stamina skill, and if you want to carry more weight in your backpack, this is the tree in the growing sense for this purpose. Now a little to the side you will find the skill tree for running. Pay attention to the icons. These are the sprint skill levels. Here are the skill levels for carrying weight in your backpack. Here are your character's health stats. And here are the weapons, if your goal is to be part of a clan or simply to have the possibility of defending yourself in case of player versus player. Each weapon has its separate level in this tree. Hunting skills stay here. And the craft ones are these, if you want to make your own medicines, for example. Note that these highlighted are the filled skills of a level 34 character. Every 30 days you can reset your skill tree for free, and if you are in a hurry you will have to use tickets to reset. You will be able to pass level 150, but I can already tell you that it will take time, but with effort and completing the tasks that give you the most experience, it may not even be that painful. After the last update in December 2024, I no longer see the need to create guide videos for this map. It will take you about an hour to complete all the tasks and move on to the next map. You just need to carefully read the instructional texts for each task and check the system logs in the General tab using the Enter key on your keyboard. Liubech map. This is the game's intermediate map. Obviously, if you've reached Liubech, you've completed the tasks that unlock it on the previous map. At Lesnaya Station, you learned about the task and reward mechanism. That is, whenever you complete a task, you'll receive experience points, reputation points with the faction responsible for the task, and exchange points, which help you buy cheap equipment. As soon as you arrive on this map, look for the NPC Acid, inside the station. Notice on the map that there are already 3 NPCs marked, Acid, Greek and Mark. You need to interact with Acid first, get the task he will give you. This task is related to the other 2, Greek and Mark. Then go to Greek, who will send you to Mark as soon as you finish the tasks he gives you. These 3 non-playable characters are the key for you to go to the next map, Liubech Outlands. You will also receive money or goods, and sometimes both, money and goods when completing a task. If you press the J key on your keyboard, you will open your character's quest journal. In the clan option, you will see all the factions that you have interacted with from the Liubech map, performing tasks or with pending tasks and any others that you may have contact with in the future. Pay attention below the diary option, there is a display of the amount of trade points that you have. The progression bar that you see just below contains the amount of reputation points that you have with the selected faction. At the bottom of this progression bar, on the left side, at the number 0, are the negative reputation points, and on the right side of the 0, the positive score. Note that you can quickly check on the left side how your reputation is with other factions that you have had contact with, as it is your main menu for the clan option. On all maps, you will find caches in some vehicles, near or inside houses, warehouses, next to rocks, trees and bushes, as well as inside some apartments. Now I present you some of the possible caches that you can find on the maps. And if you pay attention to the names of each one, you will have an idea of what you might find when you search for them. Here in Liubech you can find loot in the apartments marked here in the map area. These are apartments with their doors open, some with the doors open to the inside, and others with the doors open to the outside. In this map you will be able to farm the following animals: rats, dogs, spiders and young boars. Take a look at the map area, as you can sell animal parts to NPC Mitrofan at the House of Culture. He pays well for spider legs, but they are tasks, in one of them you will bring 30 legs and in the other 60 legs. Selling these legs to him or another trader is not worth it, as it will be very cheap. For the NPC Polishchik who is in the commander's office you can only sell the meat, as his price is the best on this map. Apart from the meat, do not sell any animal parts to him, as it will be too cheap. Legs of young boars is better to take a task with the NPC Belayash, who will ask you for 5 legs. I guarantee you that you will lose money selling to any other trader in Liubech. If you need ammunition for TT or Uzi pistol, buy it from the NPC Surge or another, but do not exchange it for meat with the NPC Sergunya, as you will be losing money. As said before, sell the meat to Polishchik who is in the commander's office, who will make a profit. You will find the spiders in the locations marked in the map area below. Dogs are practically everywhere, so I don't see the need to point them out on the map. The young boars are marking out, as you can see. After 11:30 at night game time, you will encounter a creature named Sylvan in the park. And another creature called Sage locked in a basement, with caches of medicine. An important tip. If someone who is not your friend in the game kills an animal or creature, do not search, because you did not kill it, and if you search the animal or creature, whoever killed it will kill you too. If you killed it, it is yours, if another player killed it, it is theirs. It is that simple. Remember, after the map Lesnaya Station, subsequent maps have PvP mode activated, that is, you can kill or die for another player. But I will say in advance that creating enemies at the beginning of the game is an act of a mentality that only aims at the short term of the action, because in the long term many players are hunting you. You will have two ways out: create a new character and delete the troublesome character, or quit the game if the situation becomes untenable. Practically everything in this game costs money, so I advise you to farm animals and creatures that you kill along the way, and sell the parts as soon as possible. Before leaving Liubech, visit the courier NPC and pick up the delivery task for Tatar, who is located in Liubech's Outlands swamp. Liubech Outlands map. This is the nerve center of the Stay Out game. This map has tasks that will give you access to the Vesuvius map. However, the map that I consider most important is the airport map, because you don't need to do countless tasks to access it. Once you are at the airport, you can go to Tunguska or New Land. But coming back here to Liubech Outlands, I introduce you to the characters of Liubech Outlands, who will open other maps for you. Remember that I told you to take a delivery task with the courier in Liubech, right? Tatar is located in the swamp, but at the moment he is irrelevant, as soon as you interact with him and make the courier's delivery. Go back to the courier and get another delivery, which should be for Imarek this time. Imarek is inside a one-story building, near the road that leads to the laboratory. Imarek is a link character, who will give you the task of collecting spider cocoons. These cocoons are here, however, the place is infested with spiders, small and large. As soon as you collect 10 cocoons you return to Imarek, who will direct you to Dr. Eisenstein. Dr. Eisenstein is a key character, because by completing his tasks and those of other characters in the camp, you will be able to obtain 3,000 reputation points with their faction and have access to the Vesuvius map. After reaching 3,000 reputation points, just go to the conductor character, Monroe, who is at the entrance of the tunnel, near the swamp in the northeast side. Another important character is Kochetkov, who gives you access to the airport map, that is, he is a conductor character. On your first visit to the NPC, he will give you a simple task, which consists of bringing him 3-car spark plug, and then he will release access to the map. After this you will pay 30,000 rubles to be able to go to the airport. Another conductor character is Shuker, who is in the Mokroha gang camp, in the northwest part of the map. This character gives you tasks that will give you access to the prison map. Just once, and it will cost you an AKS 74U. Another character that deserves attention as soon as you arrive in Liubech Outlands is Grishkovitz, because if you don't have a MGD to get artifacts, he will give you tasks so that you can get in touch with the main anomalies in the game, and their respective artifacts. And he will give you the equipment as soon as you get to know the last anomaly that he asks you to check. Speaking of artifacts, the character who buys artifacts and pays the best price, in addition to giving you exchange points for each artifact, is Pilnov. He is on the north side of the map, in the scientists' camp. And since I got into the subject of selling loot, I introduced you to Imarek as the character who directs you to the Schleimovik camp faction. But he gives you daily tasks to collect bear heads, brown and red. As you kill the bears a number of times, they drop their skins, which can be sold to the skinner character. All animal skins are bought by the skinner, as his name suggests, and he is the best price for skins in the game. An alternative is the provisioner character. However, he is a character who has predefined times to appear in Liubech Outlands and Tunguska. In Liubech Outlands he appears in the northeast sector of Square C31, randomly once every few days from 3 to 5 o'clock and from 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning in game time. And if he did not appear in C31, then he appeared in the northwest sector of Square I41. He pays practically the same amount taken by the skinner. The red bears of Liubech Outlands are in only 3 different places. One in square D33. Another in square F34. And one in square B62. The brown bears are found in many places on the map, so I will only cover a few. In square D71. In square G71. In square G52. In square H44. In square F42. In square D31. And in square B61. Bulletin board. Players now have access to the bulletin board from the Liubech map, and from the others, except for the abandoned warehouse and Lesnaya Station maps. When interacting with it, you will have the options: orders, sales, hunting, PvP modes, raiding. In filters, you can search for the desired item, to facilitate the process. But to do this, the item category must have the Select All option checked. There are times of highs and lows in equipment prices, so stay calm and observe the best time to buy your desired item. When selling something, keep in mind that someone will put the same item up for sale at a lower price than yours, and another player will put it even lower than the one they put after you. A good practice when checking the best price to buy is to leave the price option in descending order, so that the lowest price will be displayed first. Trying to sell the same item multiple times will cost you money, because to put something up for sale, you will pay a 5% fee on the price you will ask for the item. In PvP mode you will find 3 modes: Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, and Capture the Flag. All of them last 15 minutes. Weapons and armor do not suffer damage, meaning you will leave with the weapon and armor in the same condition as when you entered. Team Deathmatch and Capture the Flag is made up of 5 players on the blue team and 5 players on the red team. Consider agreeing on which team you will play with your friends. The deathmatch is every man for himself, and is made up of 10 players, with no side to choose. PvP modes are a good choice for training, getting to know your friend's play style, as well as team adaptation, or squad, if you prefer to call it that. In the hunting option, you will find all the players who killed 1 or more players, and who had karma above 500, to the point of having a hunting order, submitted by the players they killed. When a player kills you, in fact, it will only knock you unconscious, and has karma above 500, a choice option will appear: return to the last safe zone or open a hunting order for the player who knocked you unconscious for 10,000 rubles. That is, you have put a price on the player's head, in a minimum amount of money. If no player has pissed you off by killing you, you can just check the players who have a hunting order, and hunt them, because if you kill them you will earn the money and get away with killing the player. Players who kill other players will have their names marked in red. When they are in a fire fight without one having killed the other, their names will be marked in blue, indicating that they are in a PvP. A quote from Tom Hiddleston: "Every villain is the hero of his own story." This fact explains his lies, told in the absolute good faith of his principles and motivations. In orders you will find multiple tasks that can be completed every 23 hours. These are tasks that give you experience points and reputation, but that have no financial return. Some of them are related to more than one faction, or group, if you prefer to call them that. Other tasks are directed to only one faction. You will not find tasks that are in progress, that is, if a player has already agreed to perform a certain task, that task will be removed from the list until the player completes it. Over time, you will notice the in-game life cycle, but I will bring it up at the beginning of your journey, so that when that moment comes, it will be less painful. Perform tasks, farm and buy your goods. This cycle will repeat itself countless times, and it may cause you some frustration. If you join a clan, the in-game life cycle changes a little, however, it only adds the fact that you will have other clans as enemies, and you will have to create an alternative character to farm to get money and goods, since you will not be able to walk calmly through the game maps. Now about the quest arachnids of the Liubech Outlands. Follow the location in the map area. The water spiders are in the swamp, near the house in the swamp. The coal spiders are near the chemical burial ground. The rock spiders are near Belaya village. The hay spiders are near Vyselki village. And some forest spiders are near Imarek, and others near Belia village. Let me tell you a little about weapons. As you use your weapons, you will notice that they wear out, losing durability as the weapon's condition decreases. You can avoid rapid wear by cleaning your weapons every time you go to a weaponizer. I recommend not letting the contamination of your weapons go above 15%, as their condition will start to decrease quickly above that. If one of your weapons is jamming, simply clean it. And if your weapon has reached the point of jamming, it is because the contamination has gone well beyond 15%. Clean the weapon with Samastral Weaponizer from Gourmet Village, for example. You can make modifications to weapons that are equipped only with the basics or naked, as some players call them. And keep in mind that not all weapons will be moddable, and some do not have an optical scope or collimator scope, or other devices. Safe area. Never shoot in a safe area, especially if there are guards, and some guards are not visible because they are in watchtowers. If you accidentally fire your weapon, your name will turn blue and the guard will immediately open fire on you. Always pay attention to the safe area symbols, house and fire. One of the tasks given by Dr. Eisenstein is the hunt for Specimen Zero, and the last creature is a gigantic spider that is in a cave in the southeast sector of Square H13. You must perform this task with a squad of at least 5 players, as alone or with fewer players, it is practically impossible. You need to carry with you an assault rifle with approximately 50 mags loaded and enough ammo to replace the 50 mags. You will also need to bring food that does not drop when you are killed by a creature. I recommend 5 large dry rations. Take at least 3 airborne flasks with you, and don't forget to fill them with water. If you get knocked down by a creature, wait for a friend to pick you up. It will be worse if you go back to the last safe area, as you will be left outside if someone cannot open the doors for you. You will also need plenty of first aid kits. Reports from the Outlands. Note the location of the characters Ander, who is in Square B32, and Sperling, who is in the Schleimovik camp. Because in Vesuvius you can get the task reports from the Outlands, and you can get the report from these 2 NPCs. Vesuvius map. As soon as you are released by the character Monroe, you will appear on the other side of the tunnel, in Square A23 of the Vesuvius swamp. In the Liubech Outlands swamp you will find creatures called young Verliok and rarely mature Verlioks. In the Vesuvius swamp most of the Verlioks are stronger, called Deadhead, and you will find mature Verlioks. Your first steps will be to the Hermit NPC, where you will have a respawn point. Then just continue your journey through the swamp. But be careful, as the path has anomalies and groups of Verlioks. If you are lucky you will only find 1 or 2 along the way. Another important detail is that you will need a gas mask to make this crossing. And your second stopping point will be the radio tower, which is in Square E22. In Vesuvius the most important character is Vanya Hell, that is in Square I21. He is from the Purgatory faction, and his faction sells the best equipment. Such as, FN FAL 50 point, FAMAS F1, Stare August A2, SIG SG 550, Walther WA 2000, Chickham, Alice Medium Backpack and BW Combat Backpack. However, you need to have more than 7,500 reputation points with the faction to have access to this equipment. The best way is to complete the tasks of the character Chemist, that is in Square I31. The traitor character of the faction is the Reaper, that is in Square I22, near the old canvas trailer. Another important character is Simurg, that is in Square I23, as he will be the one that will give you access to Vanya Hell, as soon as you complete the task, well, hello, Hell. And if you have reached Vesuvius and completed most of the tasks from Liubech, then you will need to go to the character Krasnov. That is located in Square I44, on the territory of the Aegis camp. Do you remember that I said that in Vesuvius you could get the task reports from the Outlands? The character Lidovisk is the one that gives you this task, and he is located in the radio tower, on the second floor of the unfinished 2-story building. The task involves 2 characters from Liubech Outlands, Ander and Sperling, and as a reward you will receive a set of old instruments. And you can sell them for at least 500,000 rubles or use them to modify your weapons. The conductors of Vesuvius are, Toha Kabi, located in Square I-23, on the north side of the railway bridge. An elevator operator, located in Square I-91, in the bar under the distillery. The Kabi character takes you to the Tunguska map for 120,000 rubles, if you have more than 3,000 reputation points with the Ravenhood PMC faction or the Purgatory. Elevator operator takes you to the New Land map for 200,000 rubles, if you have more than 3,000 reputation points with the Black Market faction or the Distillery Bar faction. Some creatures you'll find in Vesuvius. Deadhead Verliox. Does not drop special items. Fast Fiends and Slow Fiends are in Square E42 and E44, and are also in Square B82 and B84. Drop special items, Antiseptic Bandage, Paramedic Medkit, Human Ear, Human Eye and Gold Ring. Sages are in Square I74. Does not drop special items, only, Medallion, and parts of a scary doll. Red Bears are in Square D24, E32, G31, H13 and D51. Jellies is in Square G12, near the helicopter. It drops, Ermac Backpack, AKMS, AKS 74 and AKS 74U, but the most common ones are ammunition and magazines. Blyak is in Square G22, in the basement of a white building in Novikovo. Does not drop special items. Wolves are in the Square C41, I42, G81, H94, C101 and A93. Also do not drop special items. Prison Map. In this map, there are only 4 characters that matter, in my opinion. Katsumyaka is caught in the fire when you leaves the cage. He will be your first contact in the prison, as this character will give you the task serve the society, but you will inform him that you will only bring you 10 tickets, if your karma is up to 900. Because 10 tickets clear 500 karma points, and with 400 karma you will be able to leave the prison. And you will go to the character Sarav, who is almost in the center, near one of the railway platforms. Sarav will give you the task clearing the area, and he will send you to the character Krumsov, who is in the southern part, behind the barracks, near the rocks, and also takes periodic walks around the territory. When you reach Krumsov, just interact with him, and he will give you part of the stone, and you will return to Sarav, who will give you a ticket. Without a 10th ticket, inform the Sarav, that's enough, and go to the character Katsumyaka, and when interacting with him, use the option that says, "Thanks. I get that." And you're free. But calm down, there's a character named Spaghetti, who is in the northeast barracks. He exchanges light cigarette blocks for some items. 6-block cigarette light for a sports jacket. Or 7-block cigarette light for a sport pants, for example. The problem is that in the prison you can't find these cigarette blocks, so you need to get them outside the prison and then come back. I once said that the character Shucker from Liubech Outlands gives you a task to come to the prison, however, you will have to give him an AKS-74U. And it's not such a cheap weapon, just to go to the prison just once, right? The cheapest way is to take down 2 players, so you'll win with enough karma to be shot by any guard, and you'll be immediately sent to prison. Just don't forget that you need to have the cigarette blocks with you when the guard shoots you, because after you get to prison you'll only be able to leave after collecting the stones. Collecting stones is the cheapest way to get out of prison. Airport Map. Gleb Kochetkov. Gleb Kochetkov is in the northwestern sector of Square E51. When you return to Liubech Outlands, you will need to interact with the NPC. If you open your inventory, you will notice that you have a ticket, which will be with the guide Kochetkov once you leave the airport. Mykola Afanasyevich. Mykola Afanasyevich is in the southeastern sector of Square D23. Guide Mykola Afanasyevich will take you to New Land if you have more than 3,000 reputation points with one of the following factions. former administration, black market, distillery bar, and Konikovo airport. He will take you to Tunguska if you have more than 3,000 reputation points with the factions. Ravenhood PMC, former administration, Konikovo airport, Omega special unit, and purgatory. Panich. Panich in the western part of Square D14, near the western bank, slightly north of the dam. For 500,000 rubles he will take you in the northeastern sector of Square B44 in Black Forest. But first you need to complete the quests from NPC Fedor Salnikov. Fedor Salnikov is in the south of Square C22, in the hangar. To gain access to Fedor Salnikov, you need to complete the only 3 quests for the character Hood. Hood is in the northwest sector of Square C24, on the first floor of the airport building. By completing Fedor Salnikov's quests you will eventually interact with the character Arkasha Fly Agarik, in Tunguska, who is also important in your journey to the Black Forest. 2 other characters you will need to make contact with when completing the tasks from Fedor Salnikov are, Roma Siberian that is almost in the center of Square B33, in the barn. And Mitya Awesome in the southern part of Square C33, in the courtyard. Nikolai Still. Nikolai Still is in the southeastern sector of Square D14, at the checkpoint on the dam. If you have gotten most of Liubech's quests, you probably need to get to this character. Pioneer. Pioneer is in the center of Square E31. And for 10,000 rubles he will take you to the Mokroha gang camp in the northwestern sector of Square C22 in Liubech Outlands. Karl. Karl is in the northwest sector of Square C24, inside the building on the second floor. He has a quest called Radio Chip, which is linked to Vanya Hell from Vesuvius. In this quest you will need to bring him radio parts and electronics, but the hardest part will be getting 50 transistors to finish it. Reddy. Reddy is in the northeastern sector of Square A24. He sells salt battery, wire cuttings, copper wire, insulated wire, PCB, microchip, radio components, radio tube and electrical components. He buys artifacts, award trade points. Sonia the Tailor. Sonia the Tailor is in the northeastern sector of Square A24, inside the barn in the yard. If you take the necessary materials to the tailor, he will sew you a leather half-glove, blue jeans pants, work pants, pants with pockets or sweater with a zipper. Some airport creatures. Boars are in the square, D41 and 3, C51, B52, A34, B32, and in the square C31 and 2. Wolves are in the square, C42 and 4, C52, A34, B22, C2 and 4. Zombies are in the square, A22 and 4, B21 and 3, A34. Wild dogs are in the square, A24, C33 and C41. Red bears are in the square, C51, D23 and B13. Dogs are in the square, C41, C33, A34, A22 and 4, and in the square B23. The map is easy to access, however, there is difficulty in walking through the anomalies on the road until reaching the character Roma Siberian. On this map you will not have a warehouse to leave your goods, nor will you have anywhere to buy medicines and ammunition. In short, as in real life we need to make choices, and sometimes we make choices believing that some are easier to manage, however, as we mature we come to understand that there are no easy choices, or a shorter path, because life always shows us that there is more where there seems to be less. This is like those phishing emails we receive. And on the other side there is a person exploiting our curiosity and greed. This is basically the principle of Occam's razor, something that seems easy can actually be difficult. Tunguska map. If you paid 100,000 rubles to the Mykola Afanasievich in airport, you will arrive in Tunguska through the NPC navigator Lukashin, who is in the east of square G34, at the airfield near the runway. Or if you paid 120,000 rubles to the NPC Toha Kabi in Vesuvius, you will arrive in Tunguska by the guide Gauss, who is in the northwestern sector of square F54. Both Mykola Afanasyevich and Toha Kabi give you a ticket, which you must return when you leave Tunguska. Unless you go to the caravan map. As I said at the beginning, I left Tunguska and other maps for a future video, so I reached the end of this video here. Leave a comment, like if you liked it, share and subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching.